I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, as an only child. My mother was a teacher in the Columbus public school systems for over 40 years, and my father was a professor at The Ohio State University for approximately the same length of time. Found out about Mom a little over 10 years ago. She had come to visit one Thanksgiving, and I noticed how she just couldn't remember the rooms within my home. I looked at this as a bit odd and even talked to my dad about it, but he told me, hey, that's just your mom. She's forgetful sometimes. And I had no understanding of what dementia or Alzheimer's even was. So I took it at face value for what my father said, and I thought nothing of it. After a while, her forgetfulness, it got to a point where it just could not be ignored. Decided to talk to my dad about it, expressed my concerns. He allowed me to take my mother to get tested, and during that time frame was informed after a series of tests that she had high blood pressure related dementia. Fast forward several years later, my father has had several stints in and out of the hospital, and I get a call the day after Valentine's Day, February 15th, 2013, that my dad had to be rushed to the hospital and was in critical condition. I immediately called my aunt and asked her to meet me in Ohio because I knew I would just need help with Mom. She flew in. We decided the best thing to do while my father was in the hospital was for my mother to go to Chicago to live with her. And that's what happened until my father's passing a few months later in May of 2013. After my father passed away, one thing that was very clear is that my mother could not stay there by herself, nor did I feel comfortable just having her there with aides. So we made a family decision to have my mom live with my aunt in Chicago for a period of time while I and my wife Tiffany figured out how we can make accommodations for her to live in Atlanta with us, or at least near us. So the initial challenge was just figuring out where will Mom stay. My wife came up with a solution which worked for several years, and that was to have my mom stay in a townhome within the same community that we live in. We were blessed enough to have the caregiver who cared for my mom in Ohio be willing to move to Atlanta to care for my mother full time. In July of 2016, her dementia really started advancing into full-blown Alzheimer's. And there were just issues with her even living independently with an aide. Today, she stays in a memory care facility that specializes with Alzheimer's and dementia patients. And I also still have engaged her good girlfriend, which really is her personal companion. Now, that does not replace the love and affection from family. You know, my wife, my son, and I, and also friends here in Atlanta, we're all very much so still engaged in caring for Mom. I visit, as often as I can. I get to see her several times throughout the course of the week because I am still the face that's most familiar to her. My advice to individuals, especially those caring for loved ones with Alzheimer's and dementia, is to remember that it's not you, it's the disease. Sometimes we can get so caught up in the moments and we find ourselves getting frustrated and angered ourselves. When you find those moments occurring, and they will occur, remember your loved one when they were okay. Additionally, it's very important that you take care of yourself. Leverage your resources. There are any number of resources that are available, from government assistance to the AARP. Do your research and find and then leverage as many as you can. Lastly, I'll leave you with this. One of my favorite quotes, especially when caring for others, is an individual might not remember what you did, what you said, or even who you are for that matter, but they'll never forget how you made them feel.